In this video, we're going to take a set of instructions and some transactions and record them using FIFO, LIFO, and weighted average. So let's get started. A company reports the following beginning inventory and purchases for the month of January. On January 26th, the company sold 350 units. 150 units remain in ending inventory January 31st. So here we go. Beginning inventory on January 1st was 320 units at $3. I've already recorded it here. Our inventory balance January 1st was 320 at $3 or 960 bucks. On January 9th, they bought 80 units at 320. So here we go. I'm going to buy 80 units and I'm going to pay $3.20 for them. Okay. So I've got two layers of inventory now. I've got a older layer that cost me $3 each, and I've got a newer layer which cost me $3.20 each. Okay. What happened next? On January 25th, then, we bought more inventory. Here we go. 100 units more at $3.34. I've colored that green to show that we have a third layer now. Here's our third layer we have received, 100 units at $3.34. Our second oldest layer is $3.20, and our oldest layer that we had originally was $3 units. So now we have to determine cost of goods sold, and we're using FIFO, first in, first out. First in, first out, which means I want the oldest unit first in cost of goods sold. Well, do you see that my red layer is my oldest, and I sold 350 units. So I'm going to use all of that 320 units in that layer. But I still have 30 units to go. Where are they going to come from? Well, they're going to come from my next oldest layer. Do I need all of them? No, I only need 30 of those units. Because now that adds up to 350 units I've sold. What's left? What's left out of that 30? There's 50 of those rascals left in inventory. So I've used up my oldest red layer. I've made costs out of 30 out of the 80 blue layer, the next oldest, and my newest layer is still available. What's my cost of goods sold? Well, 960 plus 96 is $1,056 in cost of goods sold. What's my ending inventory? Well, I got 50 units at 320. I got 100 units at 334, and that's not $494. Okay, that's using the FIFO method. Well, let's move on and do the same thing with LIFO. LIFO. Well, the purchases are all the same. The original inventory is the same. Then that was my red layer. I need to make a little room here to be able to make that red. That's my red layer. Then I bought my next oldest, which was my blue layer. And then, just like above, on January 25th, I buy another 100 units, which is my green layer. So I've got my green layer, my blue layer, and my old red layer. Now I need to determine cost of goods sold. What's it going to be? It's LIFO, last in, first out. Well, here's my last layer right here. The green one. I'm going to use up all of them first. But I sold 350, so I've got 250 to go. So I'm going to go to my next oldest layer. I'm going to use all of them up next. Oops, that should be blue though, shouldn't it? That should be blue. Let's make it blue. 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 Is that enough? I'm sorry, that was only 80, by the way. I don't know why I did that. Boom, boom, 80. Do I have enough units? I don't. I got 180 units so far in cost of goods sold, but I sold 350. 350 minus 180 means I need 170 of that layer right there. 170 of my red layer. Come on, cooperate. Not all 320. I just need 170 of those guys. Now, that's totaled up to 350 units. Okay. Now, 100 times 334 is 334. 80 times, that's not 80 times, that's not 334, that's 320. 80 times 320 is $256. And 17 times 3 is $510. So what's my cost of goods sold? It's 510 plus 256 plus 334, aka $1,100 is cost of goods sold. $1,100. Make sense? I hope. What's left? Well, the green's gone, the blue's gone, and not all of the red are gone. I used 170, but there's 320. So in my inventory, I have 150 units left, and they cost me $3 to buy, aka $450 worth of inventory left. So it's the same as, so up here when I had my 3 layers, I went for the oldest layer first because it's FIFO. Here I had 3 layers of inventory. I started with my newest layer, my 100 334s, and worked to my newest, my oldest rather. All right, the last method we have here is weighted average. Weighted average. How's that work? It works this way. Every time we buy new inventory, we calculate a new average. So we still started with 320 units. The next thing we bought was 80 units at 320. So we had 320 at $3 and 80 at 320. How do we figure out a weighted average? Well, I'm going to take 320 times $3. That's 960. Then I'm going to take 80 units times 320. That's 256. I'm going to add them up. 256 plus 960 is $1,216. And I'm going to divide it by 400 units. 400 units. $256. I'm just double checking. Plus 960 equals 1216 divided by 400 is 304. Average cost of 304. Okay, so I got 400 units with an average of 304. I've got a misprint here. It says I had an average of 310. Wrong. It's 304. So I had 400 units at 304. What do I do on January 25th? I buy more stuff. 100 units at 334. I have to figure out a new average. So 400 times 334 is 1216. And 100 at 334 is $334. How do I figure out my weighted average? I take 1216 plus 334, boom, and I divide it by 4 plus 1, or 500 units. Gives me an average cost of $3.10. $3.10 is my average. Now, I sold stuff on January 26th. What do we do now? We have to figure out cost of goods sold. Well, Cost of goods sold, I sold 350 units. My average cost is 310, not 340, 310. I multiply 350 times 310, and my cost of goods sold is $1,085. What's my value of my inventory? It's 150 units at 310, also known as $465. So here's cost of goods sold. Here's my ending inventory. Okay, so that's inventory three ways.